OAuth, or Open Authorization, is a widely used protocol for granting third-party applications access to a user's resources without exposing the user's credentials. It is commonly used to allow users to sign into other websites or applications using their existing social media or email accounts. However, the question remains, can OAuth be used for single sign-on, SSO? The short answer is yes, OAuth can be used for SSO, but there are some important considerations to remember. Single sign-on, SSO, is a method of authentication that allows a user to access multiple applications with a single set of credentials. SSO eliminates the need for users to remember multiple usernames and passwords, improving security and making it easier to access different applications. SSO works by using a central identity provider, IDP, that authenticates the user and then issues a token that can be used to access other applications. The token is typically stored in a cookie or the user's browser cache. On the other hand, OAuth is a protocol for granting third-party applications access to a user's resources without exposing the user's credentials. OAuth allows users to grant permissions to a third-party application to access their resources. The user is redirected to the third-party application's website, where they can grant permission by logging in with their credentials. Once the user has permission, the third-party application can access the user's resources using a token. So, can OAuth be used for SSO? The answer is yes, but there are some important considerations to remember. First, OAuth is not a replacement for SSO. OAuth is a protocol for granting access to resources, while SSO is an authentication method. SSO requires a central identity provider, IDP, that authenticates the user and issues a token that can be used to access other applications. OAuth can be part of an SSO solution, but it is not a complete solution. Second, OAuth can authenticate users but is not explicitly designed for authentication. OAuth is designed for granting access to resources, and while it does include some authentication mechanisms, such as the authorization code flow, it is not as secure as dedicated authentication protocols like SAML or OpenID Connect. OAuth also lacks some of the features required for SSO, such as support for single logout, SLO, and identity federation. Finally, if you do decide to use OAuth for SSO, it is important to carefully consider the security implications. OAuth is a complex protocol, and implementing it correctly can be challenging. There are also many variations of OAuth, each with its security implications. It is important to choose the right version of OAuth and to configure it correctly to ensure it is secure and meets your specific requirements. In conclusion, while OAuth can be used for SSO, it is important to remember that OAuth is not a complete solution. OAuth can be used as part of an SSO solution but is not a replacement for SSO. If you do decide to use OAuth for SSO, it is important to carefully consider the security implications and to choose the right version of OAuth and configure it correctly to ensure that it is secure and meets your specific requirements.